Our vision is to double our membership, one precious individual at a time by 2020, in communities or people groups of 20,000 people or more, where there's no Adventist presence in our conference. This is a God-sized dream, and He can only do this through you, through me, His instruments. We are constantly looking for creative strategic approaches to accomplish our goal. One of these approaches is the multi-site concept. At Community Praise Center in Alexandria, Virginia, Dr. Henry Wright is leading this initiative with Pastor Dean Waterman and church site planter Pastor Jennifer Deans. Together, they have started a satellite location called CPC Dulles.
When I first moved to the Northern Virginia area, my husband and I saw the Dulles-Ashburn area, and we kind of had our hearts set. We wanted to live there, we wanted to move there, and we looked and we saw that there was no church there, and so we had this little kind of dream that maybe we could plant a church one day. And I'm part of the church planting committee at the conference, and so a few years ago Pastor Dean Waterman showed up and he said that CPC Alexandria was going to look at multi-site, and they were looking at the Dulles-Ashburn area. And my heart kind of sank. I was like, oh no, I wanted to do something in that area. I was like, oh well.
In the past, when I've planted churches, I've had typically 3 specific criteria. To be within 5 minutes of a major mall, because everybody knows where to shop. Be within 5 minutes of a major artery, a major highway or something significant, and be on a road that's significantly busy so you catch traffic that's passing through. I have found when I planted a church before, that worked very successfully. You're able to find it, and this, the same thing that we did here with the Dulles campus, drove around, established the point. Dulles Town Center is very well known in the Ashburn-Dulles area. Highway 28 and 7 are 2 major streets that people drive on. And then Atlantic Boulevard, which we are just off of, is a major significant road that people drive on.
How does the main campus support CPC Dulles? Well, with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of giving of funds, but now with the addition of a campus pastor and Pastor Jennifer Deans, with personnel, that's the main contribution. Bodies out of our pews, experienced in leadership in some cases, already committed to evangelism in other cases, who now say, we'll leave the warmth and companionship and comfortableness and comfort zone of a big church like CPC and go, as it were, into the boondocks.
It was exciting for me because I've kind of had my eye there, and we have a real passion for the community, and then just to see how God opened doors in the right time and to allow me to be part of such a great pastoral staff in the process, it's been a lot of fun to see how God's worked that out.
CPC, and I say this humbly, is a strong church. And one of the things when Pastor Miller and I spoke about this was the concept of planting our DNA in other places. Taking the strength of a strong church in the conference and then taking that strength and putting it in a new community, particularly a community where Potomac does not have a church or congregation. Dulles is a burgeoning, growing part of Fairfax County, upper middle class to wealthy people, where we really have no strong voice. And so the Dulles campus, for me, absolutely fulfills the mission of the Potomac Conference in that it's a statement that will take on this community, intimidating in some ways, and plant there a lighthouse that will draw people to Jesus Christ. It's an absolute classic example of doing the mission and vision of the Potomac Conference.
The gentleman who shows up every Sabbath to open the studio for us, he's working, but he comes in, he takes his lunch hour during the sermon time so he can attend church. And there's lots of these little stories, lots of people who are bringing families. There's one lady who lives in the area who's been an Adventist for years. She's 102 years old, but her daughter is not. And her daughter brings her to church and says she's felt more welcomed and more involved there than she's ever felt at another church.
Well, let's take what we've done. A large church established with lots of talent, which suffers from the ailment of most big churches, and that is some people just sitting, receiving and not doing. Perhaps we can model for some other churches that taking some of those people who are just sitting and encouraging them, providing an opportunity for them to be someplace else where their presence can be more than presence, but meaningful contribution in ministry. If we can model that for some other churches, I think we'll have made a strong contribution, not just to this conference, but to the Union and to the North American Division.
One of the takeaways that I do not want people to get is that you have to be large like Community Praise Center to do this, that you have to have hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this. What if you could take this multi-site campus aspect and instead of having 4 churches in your district, you have 1 church in your district that has 4 campuses?
The fact that we have 3 to 4 first-time guests almost every single Sabbath show up, and the return rate is pretty high. We have a lot of people coming back, excitement about what we're doing. We're very excited, and we're looking forward to making a big impact in the Dulles area.